Welcome to the Win Anyway podcast. This is your host, Rich Hopkins, the Win Anyway guy. Today we are going to talk about pushing. Pushing, you've got to push anyway in life. And you know, we're kind of born pushing. Well, I guess, yeah, my wife would agree with that. Well, we were born with our moms pushing. Push, push, push. So I guess we know what it's like to get pushed from day one, minute one, second one. But that really isn't where I was trying to go with this particular podcast. It just kind of happened. But when we're kids, we push a lot because we don't tend to accept the word no until the word no comes with consequences if we ask again. Oftentimes, we'll just ask again and again and again, and our parents will give in and we'll learn to continue to ask again and again and again. And that can be a really good thing, especially if we learn how to ask more creatively, with different techniques, different approaches at different times. You know, when you're 3 or 4 years old, you're not all that nuanced. You're just pushing. You want what you want, and you want to make sure you get that attention and you get the result. But of course, the older you get, the more consequences arise. Quit asking, or you're never going to get it. Or sit down, be quiet, and quit asking, quit bringing attention to yourself. All sorts of things. It can come from parents and teachers. You get older, it comes from our bosses telling us they're not going to give us a raise or they're not going to give us a promotion of some type. You know, we can push and push and push. Sometimes we get suspended from school. Sometimes we get broken up with. Sometimes we get fired. You know, it depends on what you're pushing for and how well you're doing the pushing. We live in a society now where pushing too much, well, being pushy in general is often frowned upon. Of course, then again, you have the other side of it where you have some people who are significant in the world and they're really pushy. They're perhaps overly pushy. So I don't know if there's a balance that needs to be reached, but that is something to consider. Still, for me, I think that a lot of us tend to err on the side of not being pushy enough because we don't want to deal with the consequences. My daughter, who is 17, for the last several years has had issues with her abdomen where, okay, she's been slightly overweight most of her life, but her shape started to change and her belly would protrude and she began to kind of look pregnant. Now, we knew she wasn't pregnant for a lot of different reasons, but part of it was that this was lasting for several years. We asked the doctor about it. Doctors examined her, pretty much just said, it's her gaining weight. She just needs to walk more, exercise more, eat less. Well, they didn't push much beyond that, and we didn't push much beyond that. Partially because we've been conditioned not to keep pushing. Partially because pushing could be considered fat shaming or calling attention to our daughter of something that was unusual and we didn't want her to feel bad about herself. You know, you need to have body pride. That's a big thing these days. But also, you know, we didn't know enough. We didn't push because we didn't know what was happening, what was really happening, and maybe, just maybe, we didn't push because we were afraid if we pushed, we'd find out something we didn't want to know, which is a really scary thought. After COVID and after the years in between, we finally switched doctors this last few months. And I took her into the doc. You know, I had an appointment. She had a separate appointment as our first appointment. And I was talking to my doctor about my stuff, and then I said, oh, and by the way, I'd like you to look at Brooklyn really quick, because I've been extremely concerned about what's going on with her abdomen. And this doctor said, I am too, and I'm glad you brought it up. Within 2 weeks, we had a ultrasound, we had a CT scan, and tomorrow we're going in for surgery. And by we, I mean, well, her. She has a 42-pound fluid cyst in her abdomen that she has been carrying around for at least 2 years. It started probably 4 years ago from what we can tell in a history of photographs. It has grown and just reached proportions that are just unbelievable, because we didn't push until, well, thankfully, we didn't wait too long, because there could have been some drastic consequences in this case had it gone much longer. It could have burst, it could have crushed various organs, it could have done a lot of different things, and we're kind of shocked and yet, of course, extremely grateful that it has not done those things to this point. And tomorrow, it will get removed, and she can start living a normal life again. A normal life that she thought she was living, but now it's a normal life that she hasn't lived for many, many years and has probably forgotten to live. So that story really is an object lesson that we need to learn to push again sometimes. You might be a pushy person. This might not be a podcast for you. I hope you're pushing. I hope you're being an advocate. I hope you are going after the knowledge you need, trying for the victories you want to achieve. I hope that you are going after everything you want in life. But a lot of people nowadays, they don't want to push. They don't want to deal with the push back that they get when they push. Or maybe they don't want to deal with the consequences of pushing, because sometimes when we push, we actually get somewhere and we didn't expect to get there because we're so used to getting pushed back. Be confident. Be confident in yourself. Trust your hunches. Ask questions. And at some point, just commit to it. Push yourself to push others. Push yourself to just push yourself. Heck, I had to push myself to record this. Whatever you do, don't let fear stop you. Don't let uncertainty stop you. Don't let the world stop you. Push. Push anyway, as I like to say. Push anyway, love anyway, laugh anyway, dance anyway, win anyway. By the way, if you're looking to go out and speak anyway, you've got a message that you want to develop and deliver to change people's lives, to maybe change your life, add to your bottom line. I've been working with emerging keynoters and business people to help them become better speakers, to help them discover, develop, and deliver their best message to their best audience, to get their best paydays. Give me a call. You can reach me at richhopkins.com. You can Google me and I will come up, and as long as I'm not the stunt man or the rock star, you've probably got the right Rich Hopkins. I'd love to work with you and find out how we can turn you into the best speaker you can be. Till then, go out there and have a great Win Anyway day as you move on to live your Win Anyway life.